Alright, welcome back. So our last part of this particular video series is to do with finding percentages of quantities, and we typically do this on the calculator, but you can do it manually as well. So let's get started by finding 50% of 72. So A, 50% of 72. Now let's express 50% as a fraction. 50 out of 100. This symbol here just means out of 100. So you read 50 out of 100 is the same as percent. Right, so of, we're going to replace the of with a multiplication symbol. Now you can leave it as 72, or you can have it as 72 over 1. It's exactly the same thing. Right, first up, let's simplify our fraction into a simplified version. So if I divide the top by 50, I will get 1, and the bottom by 50, I will get 2. Now, I can also look to cancel diagonally between the 2 and the 72. I'll divide the 2 by 2 and I'll get 1, and I'll divide the 72 by 2 and I will get 36. So this is actually just equal to 36. 50% of 72 is half of it, and half of 72 is 36. Alright, for B we have 25% of 64. Again, 25% is 25 out of 100, and of becomes multiply, and 64 can be 64 over 1. Right, let's simplify our percentage fraction. They're both divisible by 25, so 25 divided by 25 is 1, and 100 divided by 25 is 4. So now we can see if there's any further cancelling we can do diagonally, and we can divide the 4 by 4 and get 1, and 64 by 4 and get 16. So the result will be 1 over 1 multiplied by 16 over 1, which is the same as 1 times 16, or 16. If I look at C, I have 75% of 48. Let's express that 75% as a fraction, and the of as multiply, and then we have 48 over 1. Now this we can reduce down by taking out the common factor, which is 25. So 75 divided by 25 is going to be 3, and 100 divided by 75 is going to be 4. Okay, I can't simplify that fraction anymore, but I can see that I have a diagonal that I can simplify further. So if I divide the 4 by 4, I'll get 1, and if I divide the 48 by 4, I will get 12. And so I'm left with 3 over 1 multiplied by 12 over 1, which is just 3 times 12, and 3 times 12 is going to be equal to 36. Right, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, lastly we'll do D. So for D we have 120% of 50, and we have to remember that that's the same as 120 out of 100 multiplied by 50. So 120% will be greater than 50, so we're looking to increase it by 20%, or a fifth of its value. So let's simplify down this fraction a little bit more. We have 120% over, or 120 over 100. Let's simplify the fraction. They're both divisible by 20, so if we divide the bottom by 20, we'll get 5, and the top by 20, we'll get 6. And so we have 6 over 5 times 50 over 1. Again, we can simplify the 5 and the 50 by dividing by 5 and getting 1, and dividing by 5 and getting 10. And so the end result is going to be 6 over 1 multiplied by 10 over 1, which is just 6 times 10, which is going to be 60. So 120% of 50 is going to be 60. Alright, here's a few for you to practice, so give the video a pause, give them a go, and then I'll solve them. Okay, let's get started. So if we look at E, we have 200% of 36. Right, so 200% is 200 over 100, and then we replace the of with a multiply symbol, and then we have 36 over 1. Now we've set up our problem. Now let's simplify our percentage fraction. If I divide the top and the bottom by 100, I can do that by just cancelling out these extra zeros, and I'll get 2 over 1, or 2 over 1 is just 2, and then it's 2 times 36. So this simplifies to 2 over 1 multiplied by 36 over 1, and 2 times 36 is just 72. Alright, let's look at f. So for f we have 40% of 90. So it's going to be 40 over 100 times 90 over 1. So we can simplify this by getting rid of the 10, and it's 4 over 10. And I can divide diagonally by 10. So 10 divided by 10 would just be 1, and 9 divided by 10 will be, and 90 divided by 10 will be 9. So I'm left with 4 over 1 times 9 over 1. And that just equals 4 times 9, which is going to be 36. If we look at G, we have 60% of 45. And that's 60 out of 100 multiplied by 45 over 1. Alright, so let's first up, we're just going to cancel this. I'm going to divide the bottom by 10 and get 10, the top by 10 and get 6. Right, I can then cancel it further. I can divide the 10 by 2 and get 5, and the top by 2 and get 3. Then I can look diagonally between the 5 and the 45, divide this by 5 and get 1, but divide the top by 5 and get 9. So this is going to be equal to 3 over 1 multiplied by 9 over 1, which is just 3 times 9, which is going to be 27. If I look at H, I have 150% of 80. Right, so what I need to do here is do 150 over 100 multiplied by 80 over 1. First up, let's simplify the fraction. I'll divide the bottom by 10 and I'll get 10, and top by 10 and I'll get 15. I can then divide diagonally by 10 and I will get 10 divided by 10 is 1, and 80 divided by 10 is going to be 8. So in order to solve, all I have to do is 15 over 1 multiplied by 8 over 1, and 15 times 8 is just going to be 120. Okay, and lastly, let's just do quickly one example. Let's do that example on the calculator. Right, so in order to solve this type of problem, there is a very simple series of steps. All we usually do is express the percentage as a decimal and then multiply it by our quantity. So if we were doing our first one, which was 200% of 36, we could do 200 divided by 100, which converts the percentage 200% back to decimal form. Its decimal form is 2. 2 times 36 is going to give us 200% of 36. We can do the exact same thing with the second one. So we do 40% of 90, so 40 divided by 100 will give us our decimal form, 0.4, and then we multiply that decimal form by our quantity, which is 90, and we'll get 36. We can do the exact same thing with part G. We do 60%, which is 60 divided by 100. We get our decimal value and we multiply by our quantity, which was 45, and we get 27. And finally, we can do our last one, which is going to be 150% of 80. So 150 divided by 100, we get our decimal value and we multiply by our quantity of 80, and we get 120.